Like, good around, video transformation. And what I'm going to demonstrate is a cable one-arm lat pull with rotation. So with getting the rotation, we can elicit a bigger movement pattern. The hard part with anything again, is making sure we have the right hand position. Because if we don't, it changes or alters an exercise completely. And the more we understand kind of the shoulder complex, and especially kind of the deviators of the wrist, we can start to understand how and why we end up unintentionally taking these kind of grips. And if we do, we want to start trying to work with our I call it an open palm grip, so that I force myself to transfer the weight that I'm pulling to my lat. A lot of times, again, if we have this, I call it a funky grip, I'm forcing myself to pull with my arm. So it's kind of lat pull. If my hand is twisted, I can't transfer that weight to my lat. I'm all on my bicep, I'm all on my shoulder, and it makes it extremely hard and difficult. And now I'm really just kind of working my arms. I'm not really working my lat. So hand positioning is huge when kind of doing any exercise. Dictating if we're holding something, even if we're doing something off the floor, depending on where the pressure sits within the palm, dictates how much is going to happen. So when I'm doing this, I'm holding with my kind of pointer finger and middle. So I want to make sure that I'm pulling with my scapula first, pulling that shoulder blade down, and then I continue with that rotational movement. So I'm coming, and that's another thing that I've realized over the last few years, the last few months, is people struggle a lot of time with that timing, and a lot of that has to do with tightness and restriction. So the more we can kind of do these bigger movement patterns that elicit these kind of changes, it's going to help us with our hand-eye coordination and movement pattern. So a lot of times, again, we think our body's doing one thing, and then we realize it's doing something else. Like I was working with a client today, and I was video recording her session, and she's like, I thought I looked totally different. She's like, then it's the way that I perceive it in my head. But she was squatting, and instead of going straight down, she was leaning. Now, we perceive that we're getting lower. We don't realize that our hips are stopping. So really good if you have a chance to either have a partner video record you or record your own training session. It becomes very helpful. So you can kind of see, this is what they do in professional sports. They're going over tape. They're seeing what happens. Their movements, the chords, whatever sport you're playing. But one arm rotational pull, I want to let it out of the socket. I'm pulling it down, and as I'm doing that, I'm timing that movement. Elbow coming in. It's like I'm reaching. Again, this is kind of, we sometimes do it in martial arts. Reach and pull, reach. This is where I realize some of the old workout videos really are kind of really good, because they do these bigger kind of reaches and pulls that we just don't get our body into all too often. Any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to ask. Thank you.